What is up, everybody? It is Rust Belt Perspective here. Please like and subscribe. Today is November 10th, 2023, and today we're just taking a look at Donald Trump and who his potential running mate could be for the 2024 presidential election, as Trump, per the polls, he has been dominating for quite some time in these Republican primary polls. There is very little doubt that he will be the Republican nominee as he gears up for a rematch against President Biden from 2020. So, Trump has not really made a lot of hints towards who his running mate is going to be, or any commitments for that matter. Um, he's maybe poked around a few names, but that's about it. So, a couple of nights ago, during the third Republican presidential debate, Trump skipped out once again, and not only did he skip out, he tried to pull attention away from it and onto him instead. Just a half hour down the road from that debate, Trump held a rally um, of his own, which definitely drew out a lot of support. Just look at the picture on the screen. And I mean, the time before that, during the second debate, he held an online program with Tucker Carlson, the Republican television personality, during the same time as the debate, as he again tried to draw the attention towards him and not any other candidate, as he skips out on his debates, as he is not worried at all about getting this Republican nomination. So, how does that bode for a potential running mate? There are a handful of Republican candidates who are challenging Donald Trump for this race, and it is not uncommon to see a primary challenger end up as the running mate of the eventual winner. You saw it as recently as 2020. President Biden chose Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate after she challenged him in that race. You saw it back in 2008 when Obama chose Biden after Biden challenged Obama for that Democratic nomination. So it's not an uncommon practice here to see this, and it is an avenue that Trump could take. But if it's going to be one of those people that is challenging him, who could that be? Well, you got these five individuals right here who participated in the debate, and among them, Donald Trump. It's crazy how he's declared a winner from this debate, as it honestly was not a very good night for the rest of these five, as we will get into that in a minute. As Trump's debate was a success, and no other Republican really made a breakthrough in this Republican primary. Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, and former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley have been the second and third respective candidates in these debates, or not in debates, in the polls. You see in almost every Republican primary poll, it's almost always DeSantis coming up second to Trump, but you have Haley, who is also competing and usually comes in third place. DeSantis, of course, he is a Harvard-educated, young, strong, popular leader in Florida who has appealed to a diverse crowd, so there is reason to believe that he could add to that ballot. And Nikki Haley, of course, she is a woman, which that right there can help a Trump ticket with Haley on there, and Haley definitely has some more central views than Trump's extreme views, so that's another thing that could help. So DeSantis, a while back he kind of made it clear he didn't want to be vice president, so there isn't really much speculation that DeSantis would get that vice presidential nod from Trump. Haley is a much more likely candidate to do so, as she would add a lot more to a Trump ticket than DeSantis would, and she actually may be interested in doing so. She did serve in his administration, after all, as the UN ambassador, as I just said. And another potential one that I see as for a running mate for Trump is Rick Scott, or not Rick Scott, Tim Scott. You see on the right here. Of course, he is the only black Republican United States senator, and he, of course, him being black, that adds to the Republican ticket. You see how big of a deal that was having Kamala Harris on Joe Biden's ticket back in 2020. That very much appealed to black voters, and that is something that Tim Scott could potentially add to a Trump ticket here. So I could see Nikki Haley or Tim Scott is a solid running mate for Donald Trump to help add to his ticket. That being said, a few weeks back, Trump kind of came out and suggested that none of these other Republican presidential candidates are in consideration to be his running mate. Now, he didn't outright say it's not going to happen, but he also said that he kind of suggested it wasn't going to happen either. So that kind of takes away Haley or Scott or even any of the other candidates such as DeSantis. But it still could happen. But if with Trump saying this, who could it be if it's not going to be Haley or Scott? Well, there is one article here who has South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem on the top of that list, and she is one that is close with Trump. She endorsed him for the presidency in 2024. Though Noem, she has definitely kind of governed as an extremist with her handling of COVID and with trying to ban transgender athletes. She has been kind of further right on that, which has been controversial. So, other than simply the fact that she is a woman, that might not add a whole lot to Trump's ticket. It's not like the state of South Dakota is one that Trump is at risk of losing. It's a far red state. So, while that is a possibility, I'm not super confident in that helping out Trump. You have Kari Lake, the Arizona Republican. She was, of course, the 2022 Senate nominee who was endorsed by Trump. Or actually, she was the governor nominee, excuse me, where she was endorsed by Trump and very narrowly lost to Katie Hobbs in that race, and that governorship did flip blue. So she's also running for Senate in 2024. So I'm not sure if Trump will want to take her away from that race, because she does appear to be the Republican frontrunner in a winnable race for the Republicans, as they would like to get that seat back after it went blue in 2018, and Sinema still is on the Democrat side in the Senate, though it's also looking like she's not going to be reelected in 2024, should she run. So who else could it be? If, Kari Lake is a possibility. Governor Noem is a possibility. Another governor I think could potentially get that nod is Governor Youngkin of Virginia. Glenn Youngkin, of course. He was able to swing the state big in 2021 to win that governorship, and I did make a video several months ago about how Youngkin could be a dark horse in 2024 if he were somehow their presidential nominee for the Republicans. And hey, if Youngkin were on that ballot, he appeals more to the Sun Belt than Trump does. He has walked a fine line between supporting Trump and being more of a traditional Republican. So if Youngkin were to get that nod in 2024 as Trump's vice presidential nominee, that could essentially make Virginia a competitive state, and that could be a huge flip for Donald Trump. 13 electoral votes that Democrats depend on. And, I mean, Arizona and Georgia, with Youngkin being more Sunbelt friendly and how they were not far in the Democrats' favor at all in 2020. They could come back to the Republicans, and just Arizona, Georgia, and Virginia flipping could be enough. That you could stake down North Carolina with Youngkin on that ballot in the neighboring state. Aside from that, Representative Green from the state of Georgia is somebody that Donald Trump has kicked the tires on having be his running mate. She is very much an extremist, so not sure she would add a whole lot politically to that ballot, but at least it would appeal more to the state of Georgia potentially if there was someone from Georgia in that key swing state on that ballot. So there are a lot of potential names. Nikki Haley and Tim Scott are possibilities as Trump's opponents in this primary. You have several. You have Governor Noem of South Dakota. You have Kari Lake of Arizona. You have Representative Green of Georgia. Youngkin of Virginia. All possible names we can see, but Trump really hasn't chosen a front runner among all those. Nothing's really emerged yet, but it's sure to in the next few months. So comment down below. Did I miss any names? Are there anyone that I named that you think there's no chance? Let me know. Do you agree? Do you disagree? This is Rust Belt Perspective signing out.